Class 11th, Subject Physics, 4th chapter, Laws of Motion. From the chapter, let us see couple and its torque. Couple and its torque. A pair of forces consisting of two forces of equal magnitude acting in opposite directions along different lines of action is called as a couple. A pair of forces consisting of two forces of equal magnitude acting in opposite directions along different lines of action is called as a couple. For example, while turning a bicycle handle, torque is acting on it. While turning the steering wheel of a vehicle, torque is acting on it. While opening the water tap, torque is acting there. While opening the lid of a bottle, the torque is applied on it. So these are some of the examples of the torque. A couple produces purely rotational motion of the body. When couple is acting on any body, at that time it produces purely rotational motion of the body, that is due to the action of a couple or the torque, the body will be set into rotational motion. The moment of couple or the rotational effect of a couple is called as a torque. The moment of couple or the rotational effect of a couple is called as torque. Now let us see the torque or moment of couple. Torque or moment of couple. So for that purpose, let us consider a couple consisting of two forces F1 and F2. Here we have considered a couple having two forces. This is the F1, this will be F2. These are the two forces having R as the distance between them, that is the perpendicular distance between these two forces F1 and F2 will be equal to R. And so we have considered here a couple consisting of two forces F1 and F2 of equal magnitudes and opposite directions. These two forces F1 and F2 will be having equal magnitude and opposite direction. So these two forces are directed oppositely and acting along different lines of action separated by a distance R. So the line of action for this force F1 is as shown, for F2 it is as shown, and the distance of separation between these two, that is perpendicular distance between these two line of action of F1 and F2 forces will be equal to R. So R will be the perpendicular distance between the two forces. Then the position vector of any point on the line of action of force F1 from line of action of force F2 is R12. This will be the R12. This distance is R12. It is not the perpendicular distance between the two forces, but it will represent the position vector of any point on the line of action of force F1 from line of action of force F2. And the position vector of any point on the line of action of force F2, on the line of action of this force F2 from the line of action of force F1 is R21. So this will be the position vector R21. So in this way, R12 and R21 are the position vectors of any point between the two forces F1 and F2. Now in this case, the direction of vector R12 makes angle alpha with the line of action of the force F1, and for this force F2, the direction of this position vector R21 makes angle here beta with this line of action of the force F2. So alpha and beta are the two angles made by the directions of vectors r12 and r21 with the line of action of the forces. Then this is the line of action of force F1. This will represent line of action of the force F2, and therefore the torque or moment of couple, will be given as torque equal to R12 into F1, that will be equal to R21 into F2. So this will give us the torque or moment of couple, that is torque equal to position vector r12 into force F1, that will be equal to position vector r21 into force F2. Now from this figure we can write r12, this r12 into sine of this angle alpha, will be equal to r, because if you consider this triangle, this r will be the perpendicular distance here between F1 and F2. So if we define sine alpha, then it will be equal to, sine alpha will be equal to opposite side upon hypotenuse, and therefore this opposite side will be equal to hypotenuse into sine alpha. Similarly, for the second position vector r21, again if you find out this r we will find out by considering again sine of this angle beta. If this angle is beta, this will be here opposite to this, therefore this will be again beta, and from this, similar to that of r12 sine alpha equal to r, we can write r21 sine beta equal to r, and therefore from figure r12 sine alpha equal to r21 sine beta, that is equal to r. Now if the magnitudes of the two forces F1 and F2, that is mod of F1 is equal to mod of F2, and that is equal to F, that force equal to F, that is magnitude of force F1 and F2 both are equal and it is equal to F, then we can write torque equal to, torque equal to r12 into F1 sine alpha, will be equal to r21 F2 into sine beta, that will be equal to Rf. So this will be the torque, that is force into perpendicular distance. Forces are F1 sine alpha and F2 sine alpha, and then it will be multiplied by the position vectors. Therefore this will be the torque, that is Rf will give rise to the torque, and therefore we can say that the moment of a given couple is thus constant, as it is r12 f1 sin alpha equal to r21 f2 sin beta equal to rf, that is the constant, and therefore we can say that the moment of a given couple is constant, that is it is independent of the points of application of forces or the position of axis of rotation. And therefore now here we have seen that the moment of a given couple is constant, and therefore now let us prove that. Here we have to see the proof of the moment of a couple is independent of axis of rotation. Moment of couple is independent of axis of rotation, that is moment of couple does not depend upon the position of the axis of rotation. So in order to prove this, let us consider a rectangular sheet. So this will be the rectangular sheet, and it is free to rotate only about a fixed axis of rotation perpendicular to the plane of the figure. Suppose if the axis of rotation is perpendicular to the plane of the figure, about this axis of rotation this sheet is free to rotate. So it will rotate about a fixed axis of rotation. Now a couple consisting of forces plus F and minus F. A couple consisting of that is two equal and opposite forces here consisting of plus F and minus F act on the seat at different locations. So at different positions, at two different positions, this plus F and minus F forces are acting. Plus F force is directed towards left side, minus F force is directed towards right side, and therefore this seat will rotate in anti-clockwise direction, in anti-clockwise sense as per first figure, that is figure A. So figure A will represent the anti-clockwise rotation of that rectangular seat, and therefore from this figure A, the perpendicular distances of axis of rotation from the forces plus F and minus F, let it be x and y respectively. So x is the distance of this plus F force from the axis of rotation, and y is the distance, that is the perpendicular distance of this force minus F from the axis of rotation. So here perpendicular distances of axis of rotation from the forces plus F and minus F are x and y respectively, and therefore we can write from this first figure A, total torque will be equal to, now as this force is directed towards right, this force is directed towards left, and the distance between these two forces is equal to r, and therefore the total torque will be equal to sum of the torque due to, that is plus F force and minus F force, and therefore we can write total torque will be equal to torque plus torque minus. So in this case the line of action of the forces are on the opposite side of the axis of rotation, and therefore there will be addition of these two torque, that is torque plus torque minus, but this torque plus will be equal to xf, this will be x into f. Due to plus F force, that torque will be equal to xf, that is perpendicular distance into magnitude of force, and then plus yf for second force, that is minus F force, perpendicular distance is y and force is F, therefore it will be yf. Taking common f, we can write x plus y into f, but x plus y, this is x and this is y, and therefore x plus y will be equal to this r, and therefore it will be rf. So if you consider this as the axis of rotation, then we can, that is about this axis of rotation, we will get rf as the total torque. Now let us consider second figure B. Again for the same seat, if the axis of rotation is now changed such that the perpendicular distances between the axis of rotation and the forces are now different. For plus F force, the distance is q from the axis of rotation, and for this minus F force it is equal to p, so that the perpendicular distance between now the two forces will be equal to r, and that will be equal to q minus p. Q minus p will be equal to r. So here the position of the axis of rotation is changed. Now if you consider figure B, the lines of action of both forces plus F and minus F are on the same side of the axis of rotation. So on the same side of the axis of rotation, the line of action of the forces for plus F and minus F are there, and therefore the perpendicular distances of the forces plus F and minus F from the axis of rotation are taken as Q and P. So Q is the perpendicular distance of force plus F, P will be the perpendicular distance of this minus F force from the axis of rotation, and therefore again for this second figure, that is for figure B, we can write total torque will be equal to now subtraction of these two torques. due to plus F and minus F, and therefore it is torque plus minus torque minus. As the line of action of forces, both the forces are on the same side of the axis of rotation, therefore there will be subtraction of these torques, and that will be equal to QF minus PF. QF minus PF. Taking F common again, Q minus P into F, but Q minus P is equal to R, and therefore it is equal to RF. That is, if the axis of rotation is changed, if the location of the axis of rotation is changed, still the moment of couple is the same, that is equal to RF, and therefore we can say that the moment of couple is independent of the axis of rotation. So it will be cleared from these two equations, because both the equations are having same torque, that is RF, even if there is change in position of the axis of rotation. And now let us see the next point, that is mechanical equilibrium. What is that mechanical equilibrium? A particle is said to be in mechanical equilibrium if no net force is acting upon it. A particle is said to be in mechanical equilibrium if no net force is acting upon it. That means if the net force acting on the particle is 0, then we can say that the particle is in mechanical equilibrium. Instead of that, for a system of bodies to be in mechanical equilibrium, the net force acting on any part of the system should be 0. That is, if the net force acting on any part of the system of the bodies is equal to 0, then that system of bodies is said to be in mechanical equilibrium. That is, for a system in equilibrium, both velocity and linear momentum of all the parts of the system must be constant or 0. So when any system of bodies is in its mechanical equilibrium, at that time both velocity and linear momentum of all the parts of the system must be constant or 0. And therefore, for mechanical equilibrium, we can say that for mechanical equilibrium of the system, sum of the forces, that is summation F, will be equal to 0 at any part of the system. So at any part of the system, for mechanical equilibrium of that system, the net force must be equal to 0, that is sum of all the forces must be equal to 0. Now there are three different states of equilibrium. So equilibrium will be having three different states as stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. So if the body is disturbed from the equilibrium and then release, if it tends to recover its original equilibrium position, then we can say that the body is in stable equilibrium. If the body is disturbed from its equilibrium and release, if that body tends to recover its equilibrium position again, that is original equilibrium position, then we can say that the body is in stable equilibrium. On the other hand, if the body is disturbed from its equilibrium and release, then if it moves further from its equilibrium, it is unable to achieve its original equilibrium position, then we can say that the body is in unstable equilibrium. If the body is disturbed from its equilibrium and release, and if it is moving further from its equilibrium, That means if final equilibrium and initial equilibrium are not the same, then we can say that the body is in unstable equilibrium. Then if the body is disturbed from its equilibrium and release, if it remains in equilibrium, then we can say that it is neutral equilibrium. If the body is disturbed from its equilibrium and release, and if that body remains in its equilibrium position, then we can say that it is neutral equilibrium.